matters politics. And you know that Jubilee Senate Majority Whip Irungu Kangata is set to issue a statement in an hour's time. This comes hot on heels of Jubilee Party Purge in both the Senate and National Assembly. Let us speak to our senior parliamentary reporter, Patrick Amimo. Patrick Amimo, any hint of what Kangata is going to speak about?
It is a brief statement inviting the media at the Jubilee Party headquarters. He says he's going to make, at least he says, going to make some major announcement at that particular briefing. He's not said really what this particular announcement will be, but we know that Jubilee Party has taken advantage of this COVID pandemic season to also sanitize and fumigate its house. And we've seen such efforts at fumigating at the Senate, where we saw the leader of majority and the majority whip, that is Kipchumba Murkomen and Susan Kihika, plus the deputy speaker, Professor Kindiki Kithure, who were ejected from their positions and had replacements in Samuel Poisio, and that is Irungu Kangata, who was elevated from deputy whip to now majority whip. But then we see that particular position for the deputy speaker is still vacant. It's something that is being coveted for by both the Wiper Party and ODM Party. But as to when that position will be filled, we'll see maybe in the course of in the course of today on how those plans, whether the plans that have been put in place to see who will replace Kindiki after he was ousted from that particular position. But as I said, it's an attempt. The Jubilee Party has taken advantage of this particular season to ensure that they carry out a purge against those members perceived to be belonging to a rival faction, that is Tanga, because the Kieleweke wing now appears to have found its footing, especially from the party leader, and they are now running amok to ensure that those who had been trying to flex their muscles are maybe cut to size. That's why we see, like now Irungu Kangata getting a spring in his feet. And today, probably at the party headquarters, remember there were those at least 5 senators from Jubilee side who did not attend that particular state house meeting that was held on the 13th of this month, that parliamentary group meeting, where we saw they were given show cause letters on why they failed to attend that particular meeting. The party disciplinary committee are not met to decide on their fate. Probably it could be one of the issues on the agenda on the fate of this particular 5 nominated senators, despite the fact that we saw last week during the ouster of Kindiki, the senators came out very, very vigorously and defended that party position to kick out Kindiki Kithure. Whether that action saved them from the guillotine is a matter that awaits to be seen, because from the party Secretary General Raphael Tuju, he said that they'll not deal with social media. Those senators will have to face the party's disciplinary committee to explain why, because prior to that we had seen some of those members change their social media account and put the face of President Uhuru Kenyatta, their party leader, in various sorts, but then the party Secretary General Raphael Tuju said they'll not argue their case through social media, but they have to face the party disciplinary committee. So probably the fate of those five senators could be a matter on the table when Irungu Kangata comes there. Again, we see, given that it's a majority whip, there are those plans to ensure to see that those chairpersons perceived to be supporting the deputy party leader, who's also Deputy President William Ruto, are removed from their positions. And we saw during the last time when they voted, 7 senators supported, 7 senators opposed the removal of Kindiki. So those particular senators also happen to hold positions as either chairpersons or vice chairpersons in various committees of the House, in the Senate. Probably there might be a proposal to have them removed or replaced by other people who appear to be compliant to the system. And this particular, if this action also happens, then it will be a time for NASA to reap also in this particular arrangement, because this particular war or the fumigation of the Jubilee Party is being assisted very, very heavily, or also getting that particular push from the opposition, that is especially the Orange Democratic Movement, which is a member of NASA. So with whatever effort that comes out of this particular cleanup exercise, we expect also ODM to reap big in this particular infighting in the Jubilee Party. Brenda.
Amimo, I know Kangata is the leader, the majority leader at the Senate, but might he also touch on that document that was, circulating on social media about the purported change of leadership at the National Assembly when the Assembly resumes in June?
Kangata, as a majority whip, is trying to handle matters at the Senate. He cannot interfere at what goes on at the National Assembly because we have a bicameral legislature, and what happens at the Senate remains at the Senate. What happens at the National Assembly remains at the National Assembly. So as we speak now, Kangata is now calling shots at the National Assembly. And given his history from the way I saw him in 2018 when they were trying to reconstitute those particular parties, Kangata was very instrumental, and he made sure he sat in each and every committee during that time when they were electing chairpersons and vice chairpersons, and he made sure that he was in fact monitoring each senator who was allied to Jubilee to ensure that they don't vote to ODM or NASA allied chair member for that particular position of chair or vice chair. That's why they ended up taking all those positions from the chairperson to the vice chairperson, except for that County Public Accounts and Investments Committee, which was left for the opposition. And we saw Moses Kajwang, the Homa Bay senator, take at least 3 sessions as chairperson of that particular committee. And when we saw this particular, the 4th session where they were now electing another chairperson, we saw Olekina Ledama, who was elected chair, and we know what has happened to Olekina Ledama because the minority leader, James Orengo, came and protested that election of Olekina as the chairperson of that particular County Public Accounts Committee because they were in favor, as allegedly they wanted, the party favored Professor Sam Ongeri. So Olekina, as we speak, also his matter is also in court. He's going to court to argue his case. He was kicked out of the House Business Committee. But now we saw last week when they were trying to remove Professor Kindiki, Olekina took advantage of the floor of the House to state his party allegiance to ODM leader Raila Odinga and said that he is. In fact, he made on several occasions, he emphasized the fact it was not about Kindiki, but it was about himself and how loyal he is to the party. So that time round, we saw Kangata was very instrumental in ensuring that ODM or NASA did not get any seat in these particular committees. But now, given this time round that ODM has come out to be very instrumental in pushing, ensuring that the fumigation exercise succeeds in the Senate, then ODM will also demand a share of their cake, which might be not something less than 50% of that particular cake, or even 65% of the cake. But when it comes to the National Assembly, we'll know when the National Assembly resumes its sittings next week, because as we speak now, the National Assembly is on recess, but there have been murmurs that this particular exercise, once it leaves the Senate, it will be directed to the National Assembly, because according to the ODM or BBI pushers, they say that they, especially the Kieleweke wing and those in the ODM who are pushing for BBI, they say it's very, very critical. They want to seize Parliament so that when the BBI document comes before the House, it is fast-tracked so that it does not maybe get or meet any opposition. So those are the schemes that are being done in both houses of Parliament. And for the National Assembly, we'll wait until June 2nd to see what happens. But then prior to that, we've seen Jubilee is planning to have a parliamentary group meeting for its members in the National Assembly to carry out the purge at Parliament in the National Assembly. Brenda.
Patrick Amimo, thank you so much for that in-depth explanation of what we need to expect, today during that press briefing by the majority leader at the Senate, Irungu Kangata, bringing me to the end of the first hour, actually, of KTN News Center. But I'll be right back at the top of the hour for more news making the headlines. Keep it KTN News for much more.